everyone. My name is Maro Verli. I'm the Communication and Editorial Manager of Refugee.Info Greece. I'm here representing International Rescue Committee, IRC from now on, and Signpost. Let me begin with a short exercise with you. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning in a foreign country where you don't speak the language, you don't understand, you don't know where to find food, water, or a safe space. And imagine that you have been there after crossing the sea and after seeing people dying next to you. This is the reality of millions of displaced people worldwide. And I know, this is not the first time that you hear about that story, right? But what we often overlooked is that in these circumstances of uncertainty and fear, one thing becomes vital, like the water, like the food, like the shelter. The information. In IRC, we say that clearly. Information is aid. It has been almost 10 years since migration has dominated Europe's agenda and headlines, and still refugees and asylum seekers face the same core challenge, navigating a complex social system by having reliable and accurate guidance. How can I apply for asylum? Where I apply for asylum? Am I allowed to apply for asylum? And later on, where is it safe for me and for my family to stay? And later on, how can I register my child to the school? How can I find a job? Without reliable answers, people turn to their communities. Usually these are smugglers, traffickers, or the endless noise of social media. The risks are enormous. Misinformation, exploitation, abuse. One back. That's why, in 2015, when there were almost 65 million displaced people, IRC launched Signpost, a global digital information hub with the very first pilot to be here in Greece. Today, that number has risen up to over 120 million displaced people, the highest ever recorded. Today, Signpost has expanded and works and operates in several countries, including Africa, Europe, and Latin America, and has already served more than 100 million people. In Europe, this initiative is known as Refugee.Info Greece. Refugee.Info Greece, the one that I'm representing here, hope everything's all right there, Refugee.Info, the one that I'm representing here, contributes to a healthy information ecosystem and combats misinformation. Because it's not just a website. It empowers people with useful, clear information, accurate information, personalized and localized, so they can make informed decisions take the right decision for them, know that they have options, but also taking the first steps towards integration. But what makes Refugee.Info to stand out, our intervention to stand out? 3 things. 1, accessibility. We provide content in 7 different languages, including Arabic, Farsi, even Somali, and English, of course. Information related to public, legal, social, and integration procedures, and of course, asylum. We also utilize text-to-speech technology for those that they have difficulty in reading and writing. It was a Somali mother once told me that she relied on the audio option in order to understand how she could register her child to the school. Second, service map. We maintain the only service map that covers free services in Greece, across Greece. Services related to their community, legal aid, safe spaces for women, education, and many more. Third, interactivity. We don't only act one way, we interact. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger, people can send us messages and receive personalized and localized information based on their circumstance, but also on the status. Information with all the details on their own language. I think it was last week when a Syrian father sent us a message asking how he could reach the nearest hospital for his newborn. Within 2 hours, he had the answer on his mobile, at his hands, in his language with all the details, and information that certainly you cannot find on a static website. But the most important, the information we provide, much of the information we provide, simply is not available elsewhere. Why? Official announcements usually are either scattered or even written in legal, complex, technical language, or in our case, written in Greek. During COVID-19, Refugee.Info was the only online platform publishing the measures in 7 different languages within 3 hours of the moment of announcement. Even my Greek friends were checking our website, to be honest, to understand better the rules back in the days. Another example, transportation. As a Greek, I have friends visiting me from abroad that they have challenges navigating the public transportation system in Athens. Maybe you also have some experience on that. Refugee.Info fills that gap with simplicity, clarity, and accuracy. And that's why the positive feedback we have come also from the public servants that they say they need and they use Refugee.Info in order to serve the clients, their audience, more efficiently. But how we safeguard the information ecosystem. Refugee.Info verifies every information with ministries, local authorities, civil actors in order to ensure coordination and accuracy. We train our social media moderators, often also refugees, in empathetic listening, but also on protection protocols. We monitor the messages we receive in order to spot misinformation and address them through our channels, but also through advocacy as IRC. And lastly, we collaborate with tech companies like Meta, Google, Zendesk, our partners, in order to ensure accessibility, security, and safety of our platforms. And that's why Refugee.Info matters. As an online platform and a digital program, the results are tangible, and the impact is clear. Vulnerable populations know that they have access to education, to healthcare, to employment. Individuals gain agency through knowledge. They know their rights, they know their options, and they know pathways to safety. And lastly, and for me the most important, smugglers and traffickers who spread misinformation lose ground. Every week, we receive messages from people living abroad about how they can come to Greece following irregular routes. Our response is clear and direct. Don't follow irregular routes. They are not safe. We explain the risks, we explain the reality that usually they are not aware. This way, we don't just inform, we save lives. And I think, to be honest, this is what motivates our team to make this program better, adapt new technologies, but also find the required resources and make it for the long term sustainable. In a world of growing misinformation and displacement, I truly believe that Refugee.Info stands as a tool for dignity and inclusion, and not only for vulnerable populations, but also for civil actors and also public servants. Because practically speaking, we bridge the gap between governments, institutions, and individuals. We empower individuals, we empower people by disempower every actor that spreads misinformation. And after all, to be honest, what matters to have a healthy information ecosystem is not only about providing information, but it's on building resilience, building connections, building belonging, for those that they receive the information to know that they can survive, they can recover, and they can contribute to their communities, to our communities. And in Signpost and IRC, we have that exact mission, to ensure that everyone has access to this quality of information. And if you share that mission, come and meet me later at the break. Thank you very much.